right. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Under the Finfluence, the podcast where we're talking all about shark science. We're featuring the diverse careers, the wild stories, and the real lives of our friends and our colleagues, the people who are shaping the shark world.
Hey, and this week our guest is Dr. José Trujillo. I met him in 2022 in Morea on assignment collecting data for some of his PhD work, which he now has, aka Dr. José. And he was there studying juvenile habitats for blacktip reef sharks. We'll get into a little bit more later with the episode, but some predator-prey interactions. And welcome, José!
Hey everyone. Hello. Thanks for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Should we start off our episode with some shark facts?
Round robin shark facts. All right, I like that.
Okay. I liked it because it was within the time frame of the universe. So looking at, 13.8 billion years. Sharks have been around for about 3% of that time, so 450 million. And then if we quote that down to the existence of Earth, which is 4.5 billion years, sharks have been here for about 10% of the time. And humans, we're not even, it's like 0.0s.
Not a blip.
It's a little bit, yeah. Yeah, but we're so important now, huh?
Blink of an eye. Our existence on Earth.
I love that fact. The ego train, that's good. The top of the ego chain, but not the eco. That's a good one. I'll go next. So a lot of people, I think I talked about a lot, like how there are some sharks that glow in the dark, but there are some sharks that actually have spines, and some of those spines are venomous. So we actually do have sharks. Yeah, like up here we have squalus, so we have some spiny dogfish, and it's one thing to catch them. It's like something you would catch a lot as bottom fishing as a kid and considered quote unquote like a trash fish here. And part of the reason is that they're so hard to get off the line because grabbing them, sometimes you can get really badly cut by the spines. And it's not just a cut, it's more painful because it's also venomous.
I was thinking you said their spine, like their vertebral column.
Well, they do have that.
What? Well, they're notochord.
Oh, so
they're cartilaginous.
it's like the spines on the dorsal fins,
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah,
Exactly.
Dogfish are everything. Well, maybe not everything, but definitely what I've dissected in science class in the past were little spiny dogfishes.
Yeah, they're pretty popular around here.
Yeah.
Populous. They catch them. I'm in New England, and they catch them and sell them to the UK as flake, but nobody will eat them here because they're a trash fish here.
Is it also, do they call it rocky salmon? Am I wrong about it?
I don't know.
I think,
Google.
I think they use different names for it. And
I'm sure.
Will ask for it without knowing that it's shark.
Yeah, as a common. Yeah.
Rebranding, marketing. Everything's marketing,
right.
I've heard rocky salmon before.
I think so, yeah. I may be wrong,
I
but
trust.
that was the same.
What's yours, Jose?
Okay, my turn. Shark fact. Let me think. Maybe reproduction, which is the part that got me into studying sharks. Started noticing how interesting reproductions on shark is, how diverse and weird actually is. And one fun fact, not fun fact, but one interesting fact I think is that I don't know if many people know is that the female sharks have 2 uterus.
Good one.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. Like super cool and weird. I mean, I don't know any other species of animals that have 2.
Google.
And that's pretty cool. And reproduction in sharks is so diverse that in some sharks you will find that only one side is active or both sides are active, and that's super cool fact about sharks, I believe.
Did you learn this? Were you 7? You're like, what's a uteri? Why does it have 2?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it was more 6 when I was 6.
He was born for this work.
This came from 1. This is weird that sharks have 2.
We need a picture of you with a microscope or something, and he looks up and he's like, "There's 2," which wouldn't be in a microscope anyway, but just
incredible. Well, I mean, that feels like a pretty good segue into actually introducing Jose. We know that he came from a uterus.
Only from 1.
From 1.
Cute art.
But, beyond that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, let me think. Well, you know my name already, so that part is easy. It's actually a deep question, like who I am. I'm from Ecuador. I can start from there. Marine biologist is what I do. It's my job, and I'm from Ecuador. Grew up there, living most of my life there. And then because of science, I've been traveling all around the world. I've been living in many places. So yeah, and I specialize on sharks. Obviously, that's why I'm here.
And you've always specialized in sharks. You always knew you kind of connected from them early on, right?
Yeah, and this is the question that we get all the time.
Yeah,
As scientists, like when did you started liking sharks and why?
From the uterus.
And yeah, yeah, yeah.
singular.
And I was
Yeah.
like, it's really difficult for me like to find like when exactly. Like, when you're a kid, like you're not thinking about it. You are not
Mhm.
really, you're just curious. I think I was just very curious at some point and I came across like sharks. I think I was like listening these weird shark, not weird, but shark stories from local fishermen in Ecuador, but it was always like a myth. And I will
Mhm.
never see sharks in the water, like snorkeling or anything. It was always
Like a
like
sea
something
monster.
like a myth that, yeah. So maybe that's why I started to become more interested in sharks because I was like, okay, why everyone's talking about sharks? Seems pretty cool, but I don't see them in Ecuador much.
Mm.
Right, you're seeing, like, coastal fishes coming in because you were kind of near to the estuary, I guess, and the ocean, I guess, kind of?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm from Guayaquil, and that city is like deep in mainland, but it's connected to an estuary and a mangrove forest, which is huge, that opens to the Gulf of Guayaquil. We have the Rio Guayas, the Guayas River, that becomes this huge estuary. It's huge. Like you have to take a boat from the city to the open ocean. It's about 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. It depends on how fast is your boat, but it's a long ride. But we also used to go a lot to the beach, to the coast, because it was very close, like an hour away by car, an hour and a half, something like that. And I grew up there in the coast. And in Ecuador, there's a common artisanal fishery where these fishermen they are on the beach waiting for the school of fish to pass. They can see it, they can identify it, no matter how the conditions are. Can be like choppy,
Just
like
see
super
right through the
windy,
Local
surface, that's
but
knowledge.
cool. That's a
they
skill,
can
that's a
spot the school.
serious skill, yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes they can tell you the species. They know is this species. It's crazy. It's crazy.
You're like, "The
And then
water?" You're like, "The wind?" The wa no, sorry.
yeah, and when they spot it, one person will take their shirt out and will mark. So sometimes there's another group at the end of the beach with the boat, and it's a wooden boat, artisanal, with rows, with paddles, no engine. So they launch that with the net and they circle the school with the net, and then they bring the ends of the net to the beach and you pull. Then people come and start pulling. And if you are there
Mhm.
and come and pull, help, you have the right to get some fish. So for me as a
Oh,
kid,
wait.
it was like a super fun activity to wake up in the morning and see if there was anyone catching something. It was actually common. There's now in some beaches that I go that I don't see that happening anymore. Like the fish are gone. So I will see all the like the daily catch. Sometimes you will find like rays, electric rays. I will catch them and get electrocuted. It was fun
He
to
was
do
6
that,
years
throw
old.
them again to
They're
the
like,
old.
"You will love marine science." "Yes, okay."
So yeah, I was like always like surrounded by these things and the ocean and fishing. So I started liking it a lot.
Very cool.
That and
Yeah,
your
very cool.
family, they were all into marine science and that kind of things as well, or
No, nobody. Like there are no scientists in my family. My aunt, she was working at a shrimp farm. She had like her own shrimp farm lab. So in Ecuador, we have a lot of shrimp farms.
Mhm.
Nice.
at some point in history, they figure out how to reproduce the shrimp, and it had to
Like
be
a
done in a lab.
aquaculture.
So they will basically burn the eye of the shrimp to make it of the female shrimp, I think it is, to make it spawn.
What?
Yeah,
Burn the eye?
they have to burn one of the eyes, and that basically makes the shrimp spawn, and
That
that's
sounds
how
like
the
science.
larvae the lab. Before that, they will have to go with nets and
Yeah.
collect larvae. And it was really difficult because sometimes there will be other species that were not shrimp, but they will look as shrimp as when they were small. So my aunt will be identifying these larvae, and also then they had a lab. So I
That's
remember
cool.
bringing me shrimp larvae or like small juveniles, and I will play and have them like in a jar. So that was kind of like some exposure to marine biology, but then nobody else was really doing any science. I didn't know anything about it.
Till you went to
Wow.
school. School's important, kids.
You were
But yeah,
indoctrinated.
obviously,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You're
Obviously, in school, you
indoctrinated.
know what is science and everything. At some point, I heard someone saying marine biology, and I was like, yes, that's what I want.
Ocean stuff.
Yeah, I'll just play with little shrimpies and fishies all day. That's all I'll do.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Marine
Yeah,
science.
Just scuba diving
that's what I
Casual.
every
thought.
day.
That's what I thought, but people lied to me.
Oh, yeah, we
Yes,
were
yes,
all roped, yeah, all
yes,
collectively lied to.
yes.
It's just computers.
It's just uh it's not the golden age of science and discovery anymore where we
No, I mean,
repatent
yeah.
indigenous systems casual. So what do you do now, Jose? Tell us more.
Yeah, so now I'm working for an NGO in the States, in Florida. It's called Bonefish and Tarpon Trust. This NGO focuses on the conservation of bonefish, tarpon fisheries, and other fisheries that are important for recreational fishing. And they focus, this conservation is based on science and scientific evidence to preserve these fisheries and the habitats that these fisheries need. But at the moment, there's a lot of negative interaction between the fishery and sharks. And this is something that is where sharks come, follow the boats, and they steal the fish that fishermen catch in their
Sounds
lines.
smart to me.
Very
Yeah,
small.
sounds like they can learn.
Sounds like a competitive predator in the same environment.
Exactly. One predator is stealing the prey from another predator, which is
Yeah.
actually called,
Ectoparasitism.
so now we call it like depredation,
Yes.
when a
Okay.
shark or a predator steals the prey from fishermen. But this is
Mhm.
actually something that we know happens in the wild. When a predator steals the prey of another predator, that is called kleptoparasitism. Klepto means stealing, and a parasite, because it's a really great strategy. Someone else did
The
all the
work.
job for you,
Yeah.
looking for prey, attacking the prey, catching the prey, and then you don't have to spend much energy. You just find that predator and steal it from it.
You just kind of hang out for the right
Yeah,
time.
Like birds, and I
exactly.
looked at kleptoparasitism in spiders when I was an undergrad. So,
Really?
it happens everywhere, yeah. There was, like, I
That's
mean,
pretty cool.
yeah, it was super cool. I was in the long story short, Solomon Islands, and I was an undergrad and, like, studying abroad for a month, and they said, "You're on this one-acre island, you have to, like, come up with a study and, like, make, like a real paper." We all kinda, like, had real papers at the end, and so I found these, like, 6 foot by 6 foot webs, and they were, like, crazy, like, we think of, like, spider webs as being, like, orb-shaped, right? But it was, like, totally disorganized with one orb in the middle with, like, a 6-inch spider in it, and then in the rest of the web was, like, all these other little, spiders that were all different species, and so she would just kinda sit in the orb in the middle, and the other spiders would like feed off of the stuff that was in her web that she couldn't get to fast enough. And so I was looking at that and like
That's
what
pretty cool.
makes the web more, sexy to certain ones. And yeah, it was super cool. And then
The
to bring it
other,
back to fishing, they used their invented kite fishing in those islands, and they used the web as the fishing line and the fishing lure. So
Oh,
I had to mark all my webs so that they didn't take them until I was done with them. They use them for fishing.
oh,
Yeah,
oh, that's
super
interesting.
cool.
Yeah, because the spider web is like super strong. It's one of the
Yeah, it
strongest.
has, like, it's the strongest tensile strength, so pulling strength of
Yeah.
anything known to man.
Wow.
And then they would, like, string it up like fishing line, like, up to the kite, and then down, and then they just made a ball of it or clumped it at the end, and then as they were, like, moving the kite or paddling along, that would kind of act as like a fly on the water, and then, like, gars or things with, like, a bunch of little teeth would grab it, and their teeth would get stuck in it. So all they needed was spider web.
Multifaceted success.
Super cool.
So cool. Interesting. I
Long
I
time ago.
actually got a question, like, not to go to not to start talking about spiders for too long, but will the other species of spider, will they make a web also? It was a species that wouldn't be able to create a web?
That's a good question. I don't know if they could make their own webs. I mean, there was I had trouble identifying the species. I could at first I thought they were all males, of the same species as the female. And then I collected a ton of them and I brought them back to the US and I started looking at them and I was like, oops, these are boys, but they're not the same species.
Mm,
So I don't know if they actually could, but yeah, they just kind of inhabited everything but her orb in the middle. So, and a lot of them are probably wanderers, so they probably were not the species that are making their own webs very often
okay, yeah,
to live
yeah,
in at least.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yay, predators.
Mm.
Yeah, those are tight.
Anyway, back to sharks.
Back to sharks. So yeah, now I'm studying depredation in the
What's
keys because it's potentially affecting the sustainability of the fisheries. Some of these or most of these fisheries are catch and release. So if a shark comes and kills the fish before the fisherman can release it, that is affecting the fishery and is affecting years of conservation effort to make these fisheries catch and release. So we need to find a balance so that both like fishermen and sharks can coexist. Not an easy task, but we're learning why this is happening, where it's happening, trying to first get all the information and do the science to being able to come up with to propose a solution or a mitigation strategy.
yeah, kind of
Not that
mitigate
this
Mm,
is
what's
gonna disappear forever, but it's gonna keep happening as long as we have good fisheries and good and healthy shark populations. It's gonna happen, but we need to adapt basically.
Jose, when you say shark depredation, what kinds of sharks are you finding in the Keys are interacting with these fishers, or at least in your area of study?
Yeah, several species, but the top ones are lemon sharks, bull sharks, and great hammerhead sharks.
mm,
Epic.
But they all interact with fisheries in different places.
Sure, sure.
We're finding great hammerheads are mainly associated with tarpon depredation in these tidal channels, the
mhm,
breaches where people go fishing when tarpon aggregate. And lemon shark and bull sharks also, some of the big ones depredate in those areas. And lemon sharks, they depredate in other areas where there's a lot of juvenile lemon sharks and that are known for being nurseries for the species. Because when
Oh
lemon
yeah.
sharks are young,
right.
they use these coastal habitats as nurseries. They spend many years there, and as they grow up, they start moving a little bit more. But it's many years where they stay local, so that increases the chances of interacting with inshore fisheries.
Mhm,
I mean, what you're saying right there, though, is like at first it seemed driven specifically by I mean, there's fish specific species that are driving these predator prey interactions when you're talking about the habitats that the greater hammerheads are in and the tarpon. But then when we're going over to lemon sharks, I mean, if that's a nursery area, that's kind of a high density shark aggregate for a more, so it's also, in the heart of a very important shark area rather
Exactly.
mhm,
than just maybe a seasonal fishing zone perhaps or something.
Yeah, I mean, most of these places, what we're seeing
Feeding.
is like there's an overlap with these highly important habitats for the sharks and highly productive fishing places.
mhm, mhm, makes
And
sense.
with the lemons, like maybe some people or scientists will think when we talk about nurseries and of the small lemon sharks, but in this
Right.
case, it's the large juveniles. So
Right.
These may be like places, the first habitats that the large juveniles are using as they leave the actual nurseries, like in even shallower water,
So what's a
because they're
large
large. They're like
juvenile? How long are these
five to
sharks?
7 feet.
Okay.
Some of them are like at the edge of becoming adults, which
Mhm.
should be for lemon sharks
They're
about.
uncalcified.
Yeah, exactly. That's
For
another
listeners at
fact.
home, what are those?
You can explain that now that you
Yeah,
mentioned
Jules,
that.
I'll give you that one.
I work, my study site is numerically dominant. I'm looking at Galapagos shark assemblages. So, and we get seasonal mixes between males and females. And mine are similarly on kind of that. Usually they're all adults, but we do have some kind of like so we'll have like semi calcified. So yeah, you do give you cop a feel on the clasper. The male has two appendages on the pelvic fin. They're actually beautifully rosette when they can display it outside before it goes inside. Anywho, yeah, they calcify at adulthood. So part of that
They get
rosette
harder.
kind of thing, yes, they stiffen, but like all the time, not like
Yes.
at certain times. It's the rosette that happens at certain times. And then that's their water pump jizz machine, but it's spongy. It's soft when they're juvenile, so you use
You
that
can
as
tell.
a sign of
Exactly.
adulthood because besides measuring them, sharks generally look very similar, sharky shark, between juvenile and adult.
Mhm.
Well,
Exactly.
certain species have really interesting differences, but many of our classic sharks, lemon sharks, black tips, as we spoken, you're looking at just a micro version. But those
Mhm.
lemons are a little bigger than the black tips that we were playing with when I was watching you grab them by the jaws. I was like, what is this guy doing? I was just like holding the line. And we're like, got these small. I mean, they're still small, but the small ones are almost even like talking about the calcification of the claspers. It's like, not like their spine is calcifying, but man, littler sharks can be so whippy and so
Yeah.
like snappy.
Mhm.
And you're just like, he's just like, I've got him. It's like, okay, we need the blood sample. Like, okay, let's grab a tooth from the thing. And I was like, damn, this is sick. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
This is
We
when you
started.
guys were in Maria?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Tahiti.
Yeah. So that we were doing this because we were bringing these sharks like very green. So the fight time, we were like
Mhm.
chumming, and then you will see wait for the sharks to be like around the boat, and this is like in the
They were like getting
lagoon of the
airborne
island.
too when you were
What was that?
catching them. They were getting airborne too when you were catching them. Weren't they like
Yeah,
jumping?
yeah. Some of them were jumping. Yeah, and we're like just casting with the line with a hand line, just
Yeah,
casting.
just
And
like,
So much
one, I
fun.
want that one. It's big enough,
yeah,
and
yeah,
catching them and just fighting for 1 minute. We'll time it and bring it to the side of the boat. So they were like very green on the side of the boat, very with a lot of energy.
yeah.
So
Nice.
because they were small and the workup was super fast and they do well with the exercise, we will hold them by the jaws when we needed to approach the head, just because it was safer for us. And we had like one guy, Emilio, who was collecting teeth for testing, and I think he was testing a way to find like a marker of stress on the teeth
That sounds
like
familiar.
this. And he was like preparing a project for his PhD. So we needed to hold him to get the teeth. And it was also easier and safer for us just to hold him for a little bit from the
I
jaws.
mean, it was, yeah. I mean,
Doesn't sound
I
like
was
it.
watching you do it and I was like, wow, this is kind of genius because they're small enough that you can, that's like their strongest, they're very muscular fish, right? But their jaw is just has such capacity for damage as well. So when they're small enough that you can just hold it and you can for the most part vastly reduce a lot of those wiggles from
Yeah, yeah,
just because
yeah,
even if you have a hook
Mhm.
on the jaw somewhere, which is like right giving the blunt force, and I was like, this is cool.
yeah,
A lot of movement probably starts in the head too, right? Then
Right.
it
Yeah.
goes down the body. So if you can keep the
Right.
head still,
yeah,
makes sense.
You
exactly.
don't
Yeah.
rip a
So
hook,
safe
you
for
don't have to put a new hook. It's ironically safer for everyone involved, both the
everyone involved.
handlers, the scientists
Yeah,
being the handlers, and then the shark
yeah,
itself.
Yeah.
which is
And we were
just
doing this obviously like
grab them.
super fast and releasing the
Right.
shark because
Right.
most of the time you want like the shark to be under the water with the jaws open. So there's like water flowing through the gills. So we will do that too, but we will hold them by the jaws for a little bit to work close to the head and just control the shark for a little bit. And that was like made our work easier and faster to release the shark as well.
And this was all
Whatever
for
works.
your PhD, which was not in Tahiti, but out of New Zealand.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was actually that was my last season in Morea for my PhD. I did my PhD at the University of Otago with Brady Allen, but all the research was in Morea in French Polynesia.
Tough
So
life.
cool.
It was it was exactly
When
yeah, super tough. The traveling 4 hours, remote island, like beautiful and just way too many animals, way too many sharks. Was just
Horrible.
perfect. It was really hard to live there.
But you said
Yeah.
also that Bridie Allen is not
Not a
a
shark
shark
person.
specialist.
She's
Right.
not, yeah, exactly. She focused on coral reef fish, but she specializes on predator prey interactions at the like behavioral level,
Mm,
especially prey anti-predator strategies. So she is one of the experts analyzing how fish escape from predators with high speed video cameras. All fish, not all, well, most of fish, this is a very common
They don't want to be
strategy
eaten.
that fish use. What was that?
They don't want, you're like most fish. And I said, they don't want to be eaten. Sorry.
Well, no fish wants to be eaten, but a lot of them use this same strategy when a predator attacks them. They basically escape, but that escape is a very particular way of escaping where they change their swimming direction. So this is the fish, this is the head and tail. They change swimming direction really fast. So their body turns into like a C shape and they
Ye-
swim
Yeet
to a
out of
different
there.
direction. And the aim of this escape is just to get out of the capture zone of the predator
mm,
because the predator can be faster than a
Like a
small prey.
lunge. They're juking the lunge kind of.
mhm.
Yeah, because a
Okay.
predator can be faster in terms of like swimming, like a pursuit than a small prey, but is slower than a smaller prey at turning and changing
The
direction.
agility.
Yeah. I'm, like, imagining my big pit bull getting like, trying to catch, like, an Australian Shepherd and just never can. Like,
Yes.
just, like, waits
Balance
for
all
him,
the
then
time.
sidesteps him.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like
size is
it's
physics.
like
So yeah, so she was an expert on that, and I thought that's the thing that we need to apply on juvenile sharks. And we knew that some, like the dogfish, adult dogfish, will display these escape responses.
mm,
So
mhm,
we thought for sure the juvenile, like the baby sharks, are using this. So we wanted to use that knowledge and apply it and those techniques to study escape responses on juvenile sharks as an alternative to using
mm.
nurseries because we were finding some nurseries that still had large predators. So the question was, are these really nurseries or they're not nurseries because they're not safe from predators?
Which is ironic too, because you're looking at sharks in this case as the prey. Well, young shark as both the predator and
Exactly.
the prey.
Exactly.
Everyone has to be small at some point.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, a lot of people think like sharks are predators over their life, but that's not true. When they are small, larger sharks eat them.
They're
Even
still
even
little fish.
often
Birds.
even the same
Yeah,
species,
right.
adults of the same species will eat them.
Right.
That
Happens in
is
a lot of
wild.
animals.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So did you see them doing that same pattern, or what were they doing to escape?
Yeah, actually, yes. The first thing we did is just testing if they will display these strategies, these escape responses. They are called like fast start escape responses or C start because the body bends into a
Mm,
C shape. And we found that both like black tip reef sharks and also sickle fin lemon sharks, that's the other species of lemon sharks that live in the Indo-Pacific,
Mm.
almost pretty much the same. as the one in the US, very similar species. Both of them will use and display these escape responses. We found that their performance in terms of turning was like
The
amazing. Like
jukes.
they were super
Mm.
fast at turning and really, really agile. So some of the measures that you take are to know like how fast that turn is, but also how tight that turn is. And we found that these sharks, when they're young, they were able to turn in very tight spaces at the same level or comparable to coral reef fishes that are turning special.
Cool. You're
Coral
plotting
reef
that
fishes,
kind of?
yeah, some
Wow.
coral reef fishes, because they live in a very complex environment,
Right, right,
they are
right.
really good and agile at turning in tight
Right. They have
spaces.
to,
They
yeah.
need to maneuver there to escape predators, but also for finding prey. So we found that these sharks were at pretty much the same level of these
That's
coral
wild.
reef fishes. So super agile, super fast.
This is only for juvenile, so these are, like,
As they
fairly
get older.
yeah.
When
Tell me
exactly
more.
when they get older and bigger, that's basically is affected by size. So the bigger they
Yeah.
they they can get, the more difficult is to do
Claspers
this.
stiffen, their bodies
Yeah,
they
it's
get,
just
Get
has
old.
to get in the
"God, I
way.
can't reach my tail anymore."
Except for they can when they want, when they're on the boat.
Well, some of them, yeah, some of them remain
Yeah.
cartilage is
Well,
a thing, yeah.
yeah, that's super interesting. Interesting what you say. When they get bigger, they won't be able to do that. They won't be able to be as good, and that's really important because we believe that one of the main predators, especially for both species, were adults of the same species.
Mm.
Like you say,
Mhm.
okay, it's the same species, and then when they're bigger, well, they're good enough too, but bigger. But no, because size affects that performance. The smallest sharks will be more agile than a bigger one, even like in the same species,
So
because
they
of
do,
size. Just
yeah,
physics doesn't allow it.
they just kind of they don't fully, circuit out of becoming prey as they become adults, but they really tip that curve as their size grows, then they get faster at
Right, yeah.
lunging and predating and have less risk to
Yeah,
kind of at the same
yeah,
time.
yeah.
They
Sharks,
have to
gotta
use
love
different
them.
strategies.
Yeah, and
Right.
then what we did is like, okay, they're great. Why they're using these nurseries and how this relates to using a nursery. So what we were finding is this was not part of my PhD, but other people have been studying this species in Morea for many years. And it was weird that despite that having this strategy and being really good at escaping from predators, they were still attached, let's say, to the very shallow places close to the coast. So you wouldn't find the small baby sharks everywhere.
In the
So there was
open ocean.
something else. It's like why if you can escape predators, you can do it everywhere, right? Why then they are in these places? And is there a correlation with the habitat characteristics and their performance? So one of the things that we thought is that these places were warmer than outside. A
Mhm.
difference
Keeps
in the
their
nurseries of 29 degrees Celsius on average, and outside deeper water could get down to 25 degrees Celsius, 4-degree difference. So what we did is test these escape responses and the performance in a range of temperatures.
interesting.
And we found that the pretty much the higher the temperature, the higher the performance.
The
The faster their
Interesting.
mechanism,
turns, the more
Same.
the
agile.
metabolic processes are on
Yeah,
fire.
Right,
yeah.
right.
The fastest, they were also faster at reacting to the stimulus, which suggests that there was a faster like neural processing to display
Yeah,
Right.
and
epic.
activate the escape response.
Yeah.
It's all
Right,
about timing when a predator attacks you, not just
right.
being agile, but
Right.
timing to escape.
You've got to, like, detect the threat, and you're processing you're like, "Now, go. It's
Yeah,
lunging. Ah,
Mm.
survival."
Well, I mean, that's like there are,
That's
like,
cool.
some sharks that can actually, like, warm up their brain, right? They become endothermic for probably
Yes.
similar reasons. They're just doing it with their environment instead.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. We have to remember that sharks are ectotherms and they don't regulate necessarily their body temperatures, but they're affected by environmental temperature. So the temperature of their habitat, of their nurseries, is gonna determine their performance,
And
Yeah.
their
muscle,
fitness, their success,
and their
their
fitness and
ecological
metabolism. Yeah, exactly.
You guys were saying this, and I'm
survival.
in, like, dead winter. It's, like, 15 degrees out, and I'm just like, "Same." Just, like,
And yeah,
my metabolism has slowed so much. It's cold out.
Okay,
It's moving really
ectotherm,
slow. I am. I swear I am.
the first human to adopt the principles of the fish.
Yeah, uh, I could complain forever about the snow, but I won't. That's not the point of this.
Well, how does this all apply? We don't have to go too deep into things that the BTT is doing, but I don't know if we want to circle back and connect kind of what you're doing now on your
yeah.
terms.
I mean, yeah. I can say a little bit about it. Well, basically, this experience during my PhD gave me the skills to. I was focusing on studying predator and prey interactions. For studying how a prey escapes, you also need to understand how a predator hunts.
Mm,
So that knowledge of understanding behavior of a predator and a prey brought me to BTT to try to understand depredation. Depredation is just a form of predation. Is predators stealing the prey from other predators. So I'm applying just like this knowledge, not necessarily the knowledge on how sharks escape, but the
Right.
knowledge on predator and prey interactions in general
mhm.
to understand depredation in the keys.
A more traditional shark predator kind
And
of.
how are you collecting your data? Are you speaking with people? Are you going out and tagging? What's the design?
Both. So we use a lot of local ecological knowledge. So we started the project with collecting this knowledge through online surveys to local fishermen, pretty much anyone that will fish inshore in the Keys. That included recreational anglers and also like guides, like fishing guides that work. This is
On
their
the ground, the
full-time
people
job.
on the
Yeah.
ground, yeah.
So we collected all that information to understand like what species are involved, where this is happening, what's the severity of the impact, which fisheries are experiencing depredation, are there any differences between these fisheries, and that help us plan our fieldwork activities. Basically, that made us
Mhm.
decide what species to focus on. It
Smart.
was the lemon shark, and in which places. So we've been studying the shark movement with acoustic technologies, acoustic tracking and satellite tracking, both of them. And at the same time, we're studying their diet through prey DNA metabarcoding. We find basically you have to do like a cloacal swab to get some poop that the shark don't like.
The one hole to rule
Ye
them all.
One roll.
They hate it. They hate it. Lemon sharks hate
Whoa!
it. When you put the swab,
Yeah, they don't like it.
when you put the swab, they get tied and they start fighting.
Yeah, the cloaca is like, "Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no means no." No.
Yeah. And oh, yeah, I was just gonna say, and we're studying their diet as well with that technique and stable isotopes, and combining all that to understand why it's happening and which sharks are actually depredating. Is this all the sharks that are doing it, or a proportion of the sharks that are specialized, and all this? And now we are analyzing the data and trying to get to some conclusions that will help us propose mitigation strategies.
Very cool. Very necessary. I've spent a fair amount of time now in Florida on the water, and I mean, I started my shark research, shark tagging uh, experience down in Miami, and people, fishermen, people on the water have a lot of opinions about this problem down there and tend to be very vocal and can be a lot more vocal down there than in other places. So it's definitely something that I'm sure a lot of them are willing to spend money on, or like you guys are getting funding for, which is kind of nice.
Well, that's, like, more modern. I mean, these are kind of like traditional techniques now, like traditional science techniques, but it's a little bit more holistic to groundwork your technique and your scientific like, applying those scientific principles to an area by interacting with folks that are using those spaces and living and fishing and, surviving off of those areas.
Mhm.
That's what I was trying to call more modern in practice, and I think it's people's awareness as scientists, globally is becoming like, "Oh, yeah, it's not just the subject, it's the subject in that space, and therefore, those other humans that are
Impact.
in that space." Yeah, yeah. Not just me as my scientist doing my experiment or my little questions and things, but it's like the network and connecting and yeah, I think that's really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember we were off Key Largo, this is, like, 2013. Ooh, I'm old. And it was, like, one of my first times going out with them, and we were, like, actually offshore, and we were around a bunch of people fishing for amberjack, and they kept I mean, we were not bringing the sharks in, they were already there, which is why we were there, and they kept bringing us amberjack with, the sharks had just bitten off their line, and they were just, like, pissed. But we have these, like, pictures of giant bite marks out of amberjack, which I thought was really cool, and then, of course, we in turn use them
It's like an eyeball
as
on the
bait.
hook.
I gotta find those they're from so long ago, find those pictures, but, yeah, they were, I mean, understandably angry, that they're yeah, but, I mean, the amberjack were full of worms too, so I don't know. There's that whole issue. Can we just talk generally about because there are other studies like this around the world.
But also, those are some of the principal tools that I'm using in my dissertation, actually, because I'm using, well, two of my three chapters, one of them for my movement data. I'm not using satellite tags, but it is like seriously acoustic heavy because I'm also
Yeah.
have like a legacy and contemporary set. And then I'm doing stable isotopes and fDNA swabs as well. So, yay. That's
Fecal
a,
fecal
That's pretty
DNA.
cool.
well, mine aren't juvenile, so I don't know. Well,
What
I don't know if you're able to
is it
pull
with
them.
with the Galapagos sharks?
Yeah, I did a preliminary like a su a sa the preliminary subsampling of all 3 species, so Galapagos, sandbars, and tiger sharks, but we're also doing the CSIA breakdown, which is a lot more expensive to do the amino acids than just the carbon and nitrogen, so we moved forward in just bolstering my number of Galapagos samples, and then so because they're the numerically dominant and because just like there becomes too much data for I mean, it's just a PhD. Like I'm not doing, a full scale, not like it's just a PhD, but it's like I need to
You
graduate
do
and it's
have
just
to
a chapter. And yeah, I'm like, you can pay
Yeah.
me to do this after
pare
if
it
it's
down, pare it down, pare
yeah,
it down.
exactly. But because they're like adult Galapagos sharks, so they can be, large females can be easily 500 pounds or whatever. I'm not pulling that woman out of the water and paper toweling her cloaca. So I do a triplicate swab and a seawater control because we tried to do it's just like the seawater and the shark on the edge of the boat, even though we're on a little whaler on the surface, it gets wet. So
Gets wet.
yeah, we're not
Mm.
able to, like, lift out and dry off, and so
Yeah.
it's
When we started the sampling for the cloacal swabs, we had one roll of like paper towel, and we said, okay, let's try to collect all the samples of 1 year with one roll. So we put the paper towel in a dry bag. So every time we needed one, someone dry will get
yeah,
one
you have to have
piece,
a dry hand, you have
dry
to
hand, one piece, and get it to me, and I will dry it, or this person will dry while I was holding the shark and then do the swab. Good news is that we sample more than 50 sharks, 56 sharks, and I
wow,
still
Alright.
have that roll. It's not gone. A whole
we dropped it
So
in
it's
the sea
doable.
and the whole thing.
Yeah, I thought it was like yeah.
a whole year. So that's
That's
less impact
cool.
on the environment.
Yes, yes.
It's awesome.
All that bleached
Well,
paper towel, tree waste. It's true.
should we segue on over to Chum Diaries and hear some more stories about paper towels, cloacas, and whatever, uteri?
Sure.
Uteri, stiff claspers. Where are we going, Jose? What kind of story you got for us?
Crazy
No,
story. I got a couple. I got a short, funny one
we'll take whatever you got.
and a wild, long one. The short one is related to science. The wild one is not. So there's the funny story first and the short one.
Okay.
This
Okay.
actually happened in Morea. And So for collecting the sharks and sampling the baby sharks, we'll go to these nurseries. They were like shallow water, close to the coast, and we will wade in the water and put a gill net, like 50-meter long gill net, for 3 hours. And then this was at night, like from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So at night, we'll go and collect the gill net, and you will have to just a technique holding the gill net on your shoulders like this, one and folding the gill net as you collect. So I was like doing that, and the water was like belly deep, like a level, and I
Jeez,
was walking, and I felt like a jellyfish, like stings me, like just right there,
and you can't move.
in my thing,
It's like in your shorts. His clasper, not in the
in my
clasper.
clasper, and it was like, super painful, and I couldn't move because I had like almost half of the gill net heavy, like here. I just had to
Oh
keep
my
going,
god.
drop the gill net on the basket, then drive to the research station,
Oh my god.
run to the kitchen, and pour like vinegar in my pants like this, and I was
He's like, I can't waste the sharks. I can't waste the specimen. He's like, ah. Oh my
yeah,
god.
and I was
Fucking
laughing. It was
jellyfish,
painful.
man.
It was painful, but I was laughing at the same time.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, that's like a bullseye if you ever see.
Oh
That
my god, I
jellyfish could
can't.
have been anywhere and it could have been annoying, but it really nailed.
yeah, it
The
was just
clasper.
right there, like it aimed to the
Hey,
wrong
he's
place.
like, I'm gonna fuck up his day, man. Bless
Yeah,
Jose, bless
That's
you
amazing.
for powering
The things that
through.
happen to
How's
us in the field.
ugh.
yeah, yeah. You never know what is gonna happen out there in the field.
So true. You never know when you're gonna get hit.
Yeah,
And it's not even the sharks that get you.
Man. Yeah, no, jellyfish could be fucking little dicks. I got a box jellyfish, but it was only on my ear, which is like
I had one in my
lucky.
upper lip.
Oh, dude, those fuckers. I was like, yeah, man. Like, I know how people want to go to the ER if you get a box anywhere else. Like,
Yeah,
wow.
I got it in the Solomon Islands too. Lots of Solomon Islands talk today.
I'm guessing it's very painful. I've never got one of those.
it's it's like deeper than other jellyfish stings that I've had.
Mm,
Like I
Wow.
was like,
I actually agree about
but I
that.
don't know. I've never had one on a clasper, so I don't know. I can't relate. I cannot compare the sensitivities of the
Isn't it
region.
deadly? Like the
I
Yeah,
box
if you
thing?
mean,
like really
I
Or
get
had
not
it
you.
all of them?
only. I think if you can, yeah, if you get really like all of the tentacles. I just had like like I felt my ear. I was suddenly like, fuck, what was that? And then I saw it after, like it was drifting through the current and it just
Mm.
happened. So that's lucky, yes. But
Is that
I
in
mean,
Hawaii?
people get them out here. Yeah. People get them out here. Not usually death, though. Like, I'd say usually, like, as soon as people feel like it's not usually, you know what I mean? Like, they're like swimming. So usually people get like a tentacle, not like a
Brush.
mob.
Not the
Like a
whole thing.
hug.
Yeah,
Yeah, like or
not
like
like
on
a
your neck
Portuguese
or
man of war that
something,
like
but
sticks
Wow.
on you.
Wow.
anaphylactic. Yeah, those fuckers are annoying, but it's not they're manageable. More tall. They're annoying. It's not doesn't feel pleasant, but
Which ones?
The Portuguese man of war,
Which ones you
you're
said?
thinking of a
the
whole
blue
man of war.
bottles,
Sorry. I'm not talking about the same.
the blue ones
There's the
with like
little
the sails
kind that
that
are
are not
individual that
actually
I'm thinking of,
jellyfish.
Valella Valellas, but
Yes, those don't sting really. Yeah.
Ah, you got like the
but
Man of War?
yes,
We have the
Man of
men of
War. I
war in
yeah,
Miami every
but
year
they
are
can be
so
colony,
bad.
right? They can
it's
They
a
also
are
colony,
colonies.
yeah.
yeah,
It's a
that's what
colony, it's huge.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
one
yeah.
hurts.
fuck that.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
my
Like,
mom
yeah.
this time last year, like probably almost a year ago, on Key Biscayne in Miami, it was just like swimming. She does like her morning swims and got one so bad, like wrapped on her arm that and it was really cold out and raining. I don't know why she was swimming anyway, but got it so bad that when she ran into a hotel that was right there and like was panicking, called me because like obviously you call a marine scientist, not, I don't know, 911. And I was like, you need to get really hot because it's a protein and you have to denature the protein. They put her in the sauna and it was, like, the hottest place they had, and so, like, the EMTs had to come, and she was, like, having, like, a full-on, like, attack like, panic attack, and, like, they had to, like, calm her down and, like, keep her in the sauna in the heat, and they, like, closed down their I don't know, their spa area because there
They
was a
can't be
woman
sending their
having
guests into the
a
sauna.
medical
Distress.
concern.
My god.
Yeah. But it works, people, it's a protein, so you need to get
Shout out
hot
to Christine's mom.
and it yeah, hot not fresh water unless it's hot.
Yeah, to, like
Anyway, it's protein-based, so you have to get it really hot to denature the protein, to break it apart.
Mm,
But
yeah.
if you put fresh water on it, that, like, actually makes the nematocyst, the stinging cells, fire. So if you put,
yes.
like, lukewarm fresh water on a sting, it'll make it worse. It'll make the stinging cells that are still there sting you again.
Good to know.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
you wanna get, like, near boiling water, so that'll kill the proteins.
Or vinegar denatures as
Vinegar,
well.
I've used vinegar and it works. I mean, I
It
knew like
denatures the nematocyst cells.
that the temperature, like hot temperature helps, but I didn't
Mhm.
knew like the fresh water will make those like fire
Yeah.
and so it will get worse. That's
Yeah, we did I remember we had, like, blue bottles or the Portuguese manual water, like, in
The
class, like, in
little ones.
undergrad, and a
The
teacher, like, put, like, some fresh water into the tank, and you would, like, see like, the whole tentacle go. So, yeah, don't do
It's
it.
just like torturing little jellyfish. She's like, "Yeah, little
yeah.
fucker." Like,
Also, don't pee on your friends.
yeah, yeah. Then
Alright, well, Jose, this is our time to let you, plug anything. Do you have any papers coming out? Any talks coming up? Anything you want? Instagram handle?
So the one of the biggest papers that I got from my PhD that is called like safety in the shallows. That one came out I think last year it was. So that's one of the last papers that I got out. Um, and that basically talks about the whole idea that I had in my PhD and like sort of summarizes a little bit of the experiments that we did and how those escape responses and that performance relates to the habitat characteristics and how that could be a strategy for the sharks to lower predation risk and how that associates with using a nursery or not.
that's a catchy
That
title.
is
I like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Safety in the Shallows. Yeah, that was the title of my PhD presentation, Safety in the Shallows.
Nice.
That's it. PhD, like done. You just nailed it in just
Only a
like one
few words.
sentence. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Your elevator pitch.
It's because one of the besides temperature that we were talking about that improved performance, we also found that they were better at escaping in shallow water compared to bigger sharks because a bigger shark wouldn't be able to perform as well in shallow water because all that propulsive power that they're trying to generate to attack
Mhm.
a prey it dissipates as like surface waves instead of
Right.
forward thrust. Um, so it's all about relative depth of what
Their water column no longer their water.
exactly for a baby shark maybe is not shallow because their
Right.
full bodies is underwater.
Yeah.
But for an adult shark,
They're like, "Fucker,
it's
I'm still
exposed.
deep."
It's exposed, so they're gonna try to attack, but it's not. They're not as good as they will be in the deeper waters. So safety in the shallows. Then they
Makes
can use the
sense.
escape responses there if there's a predator, which we found that many times apparently there were large predators in the nurseries that they were supposed to be nurseries.
Well, that makes sense too, though, right? That the predator's able to be like, "Hey, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go check
Mhm.
out where the babies hang out because I know they hang out there." And they think they've got all these suave techniques, but maybe that one's a little bit on the edge, or maybe that one's a little too
Right.
slow. Yeah, like it makes sense that the predator would find the prey in that sense as well, even though the
Yeah.
prey are
Exactly.
there. Yeah, I love this.
Yeah. Also, it's easy to find because they're always there. They don't
They're
move.
always
Mhm.
there. They're always
Yeah, there's more of them.
yeah.
Always there. Predictable source of food.
Right, their
Mhm.
cognitive map has that spatial awareness. So they're like maybe they that day or time they're not able to catch what and they're like, "Well, I'll go check out the babies." That's my
I'm glad
spark
we're not
notes
sharks for this reason.
from their paper. Shit. Follow your work, Jose. You're a postdoc. You're closing off your postdoc. You're heading back to Ecuador.
No, this is my last year. This is my last year of postdoc.
Okay.
So I'm heading back to Ecuador. Don't know what's gonna happen in the future once this postdoc is done. I hope I could do science in my own country one day. I love being all over the world. I've been in many places in Chile, in the Galapagos Islands. That's Ecuador, but it's still an island. French
Remote.
Polynesia, New Zealand, and now in the US,
Tough
everywhere.
life, man. Tough
Tough
life.
life, tough life. But I would love to do science in my own country one day.
Mhm.
It's difficult, but I would love to. But yeah, I mean, I'm in social media. I'm in Instagram. It's the only one that I'm using right now.
Some fancy pictures in there too, huh?
I post some of my picture. Thanks. Post. I haven't taken pictures in so many years, to be
No, I
honest.
can't imagine you're busy or
Happens.
anything.
Yeah, it's been like 4 years, I think, since really going out taking pictures seriously. My camera doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
thing happened to me.
Sponsors. Jose is looking for camera sponsors. Find him
Please,
on his
yes.
Instagram handle.
Housing
Safety
for
in the
underwater
shallows.
photography.
Yay. Perfect.
And what's
Okay.
what's your handle? Did you say it?
That's
Well, we'll tag him. Yeah, we'll
Jose
tag it too.
Emilio. Yeah, well, probably will be better if you put it there because I don't know.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
letters.
it's a lot of letters. So it's Jose Emilio Trujillo, which is my first name, second name, and last name, but just with one E. Jose Emilio Trujillo.
Oh yeah, because
Dot.
it's so instead of
Very long.
Jose
You can type
Emilio,
it
it's
there.
the Jose Emilio. Like your E is doubled into one. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Josemiliotrill. Oh man, that did not sound like the way you said it because I said it in such hard English.
Thanks,
But
man. I think it was JOSEMILIOTRUJILLO.
double L O. Why didn't do .m at the end? Yeah, we'll tag you. That's a tough
Well,
one.
Too
yeah.
long. I'm
Everyone
sorry.
else can
We
just
can
go to
put
the show notes and copy that.
yeah, show notes. Safety in the shallows. Dr. Jose Trujillo, everybody.
Thanks for having me today. It was fun. It was a
Thanks
cool
for
chat.
joining.
Yeah, we like to make science fun and palatable, and
Mhm.
we learn things too. We like to highlight guests that are, we're still PhDs, so we're still suffering every day, crying, waiting to be done. We're like, there's hope for the other
Mhm.
side.
Yeah,
There's
it's
hope.
really just our, like, therapy. Everybody's else seems happy, just me.
This is the highlight of our week. I gotta go back on my computer.
I have to convince myself it's worth it.
It is. It is. I remember being there and I thought like this is never going to end. Like I'm
Yeah.
so tired. And then the next day when I was done, I was like, it's done. That was easy. Not really.
You're
But not
like, your
really.
body just like
Not really.
surpasses
But
all of the
suddenly when
traumas, just like poof.
Yeah.
yeah, but when you see like things like in the past, it starts to feel like, whoa, well, I was able to do it and I did it. I'm
Mhm.
here.
Casual. Time is a construct.
You gotta do tough things, you know? You can't
It is a
you're
commitment
not
for
gonna grow.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
That's
we get to
true.
be non-medical doctors together.
Yeah. My boyfriend's a lawyer, and I can't let him be the only doctor. It's not really the same thing, you know? It's the only reason I'm doing it.
She's like, I'm just spite mongering this shit.
It's the only thing keeping me here is to not let him be the only doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on that note, on my true self coming
Cutting
out,
ourselves off.
this was awesome, really great. Good luck with the next year and going back to Ecuador. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with at the end of this, like the third year of this study. I think it'll be really interesting and see your recommendations.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me today. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, hope we can get some really cool results from this postdoc. And yeah, thanks for having me here.
Yay! This episode has been brought to you by Wildscape Productions, a raw conservation nonprofit.